This video is brought to you by my awesome sponsors. Make sure to check out the affiliate links in the description below. Thanks again for all the support. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Matt and welcome to a quick little product review, more of a compare and contrast here. Today we're talking about the Fanatec Club Sport Formula Wheel 2.5, version 2.5. And then we've got the Fanatec Club Sport Formula Wheel 2.5X. So I bet a lot of you are asking, why now? Why this review now? Because these wheels have both been around easily since, previous to 2020. So, these wheels are easily 3 years old at this point. So what's the reason for all this? Long story short, my brother is getting my guest setup, my secondary wheelbase system, which of course is the Fanatec GT DD Pro with the 8 Newton-meter boost kit. And I wanted to give him not only the standard wheel that you get for Gran Turismo, but also a Formula wheel, as he is a Formula 1 fan. And I figured it'd be just nice to have a second wheel that he'd be able to use for a different variety of games. So, more or less, why now is I'm not going to say in the market, but I actually had to pick up my own Fanatec Formula wheel because the one that I was giving him was going away. So rather than picking up an exact replica of the one I was giving him, which was the 2.5X, and actually you can check out this review, I think it's up there, from when I received it and gave quite an in-depth review of it. But today is going to be a little bit different because it is going to be compare and contrast between the standard 2.5 version, which is what I just picked up, and then of course the 2.5X version. So on their website, you've got the standard 2.5 version, and then you've got the 2.5X version. You go, why? What's the difference? So one is orange and costs $10 more, and the other one is, $10 less and is not orange. So the main differences is that the standard 2.5 version is PlayStation and PC compatible only. Not only that, it has, in my mind, a very stylistic white trim, and actually has some leather kind of handles, some grips. The 2.5X version also includes compatibility with Xbox. Again, continues having the PlayStation and PC compatibility. Has some orange trim instead of the white trim, and actually has Alcantara kind of handle grips. So is there any preference really? Honestly, at this point, the only reason why you get one over the other is Xbox compatibility. If you are playing directly to an Xbox Series S or Series X, you need to have the 2.5X version. So if you like the white trim, but you need Xbox compatibility, unfortunately, you're going to have to spend the extra $10. And that's also something kind of the case across the entire Fanatec line, is that, for instance, their standard universal hub has PlayStation and PC compatibility only. And as soon as you want the Xbox licensing or the Xbox branding or Xbox compatibility, you are spending, I want to say it's like an extra $50 for like the whole kind of bundles that includes the Xbox compatibility, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I guess there's some extra licensing pricing that Fanatec just has. There's some extra circuitry that they need to add to make it compatible with the Xbox. I quite haven't heard what the case is, but it's unfortunate that that price difference has to be passed on to the consumer. But, it is what it is. So that being said, if you are on PlayStation or you're on PC, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, so really the only difference is white trim with leather or Alcantara with orange. And really, for the most part, that genuinely is kind of the main difference. So it's completely preference-wise, but the one thing that I am going to talk about a little bit is the leather versus Alcantara. So if you honestly don't care about looks and you're going to be racing, I'll say without gloves, kind of a casual racer, you don't really want to get that into, you know, building these giant sim racing cockpits or whatever, and you only play F1 22 or 23 when that does come out, just kind of like in your living room, and you have a setup that you can kind of pull out and then put back away. The thing that I've noticed is I'm kind of, I don't know, stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I like both the leather and I also like the Alcantara from the 2.5X. The issue with the Alcantara is, well, it's Alcantara, so you're going to get your skin oils, you're going to get dry skin, you're going to get all sorts of crap and gunk in it, and it's kind of going to stay there forever. So when looking at the standard 2.5 version, just ignore my driving at this point, this is just absolutely garbage. So with the standard 2.5 version, you go, okay, fine, I'll just do the leather. So with the leather, I find it that it is less comfortable than the Alcantara. And I'm going to be quite frank, the leather craftsmanship that Fanatec has never really been high quality, should I say? I mean, it's good, but I've noticed that with, for instance, my Forza rim, that every, you know, after a long period of time, you know, it really starts, it's very hard. So it really kind of makes your hands a little bit more sore, a little bit faster than the Alcantara would. And over a long usage, over owning it for a long period of time, I've noticed that the stitching has been slowly unraveling itself over some more well-used places, like for example in like the where your thumbs are, you know, those kind of areas and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the difference is $10, and the difference is how much you're going to use it. So with kind of the leather wheel, in my mind, it looks better. Unless if you can find ways to really clean up the Alcantara, you know, that might be my more favorite one. But when we're looking at the Formula 2.5 version here, the white trim with the leather work just makes it look special. Of course, it is I want to say it is the official wheel that the Williams Formula 1 team actually uses for kind of their sim racing. Maybe not like their official sim rakes, but like when you go to track events and whatnot, and Williams has got like, you know, just anybody can jump in kind of simulators. I believe these are the wheels that they're using. So let me just do a quick swap here. I think I've made my point in a little bit with the standard 2.5 version, so I'll do the 2.5X and get this all plugged in and ready to go. So immediately, I think this is kind of the same issue that I was having with like the Forza Motorsport rim for the Xbox Universal Hub, is that with the leather work, I want to say because of just how the rims are made and where the leather work can really be applied, I want to say that just where your hands are, where your fingers lie in these kind of little slots, is where the seams are. So more or less the case that I was going to make immediately when going to the Alcantara, there is a little bit of a seam for where your thumbs rest, but the material in general almost feels like that there's like a cushion or a gel maybe underneath it just slightly. or maybe that's just material itself. I haven't taken this apart to figure out what's all in it, but it just feels a little bit less harsh on the hands. And that's something that I really, really do like, because, you know, just doing those 8 or so laps, you know, my hands are already starting to feel a little bit tired with the leather work from the standard 2.5 version. So with the Alcantara work here, again, it's not perfect. It's not like, these are $400 wheels, so you're not going to get these hugely high quality pieces of technological wonders in your hands. You're going to get more consumer grade stuff, if you will. But this in general, it just feels like it's going to be a lot more comfortable for, you know, longer play time. So if you're doing like 35% or 50% race lengths in Formula One 22, this is definitely going to be a lot more comfortable. And I don't know, that's just kind of my thought process on it. I want to say that with all these wheels, instead of getting your quick release system 1 light, so that was the plastic version that had kind of the twist on system that is notorious for splitting under heavy use, Fanatec has actually been nice enough that even though these wheels are $400 and then the metal quick release 1 system is an additional $100, they actually include that for free whenever you order any one of these Formula wheels in 2023, which is nice, instead of having to order that really garbage plastic one. So, or order the metal one separately. They just kind of include that, so I'm actually quite happy about that. But kind of going over the general button details, I mean, you've got 2 rows of 3 up top. You've got a couple of other buttons down here, kind of in the middle, 3 at the bottom, 3 kind of rotary dialed switches. Kind of hard to describe the wheel while you're driving, I'm going to be honest. Kind of these 2 little switches here, 2 little rotors over here. I don't know, dials, these things, whatever you want to call them. And the coolest thing about this is both kind of this little OLED screen, and very prominently you've got the rev limiter lights, and I think these lights are amazing. So when I tried getting this set up with the PC, it was kind of hit or miss if games were going to recognize them or not. When it came to like a set of Corsa Compatibility, I think you really had to use the Fanalab app to really make it come to life. And when you use it with like Forza Motorsport 7, it just automatically recognized. And I think that's kind of the case with all PlayStation games, or like all PlayStation racing games, I should say, is that when you plug it in, PlayStation's like, oh, hey, you're using this wheel, we're just going to recognize it. So I was very happy to see at least that much, because you wouldn't think much of it, but these rev limiter lights are really transformative. So again, like I've seen, both the 2.5 version and the 2.5X have the exact same rev limiter lights, the exact same coloration. So I love it. I love them both. Very cool wheels. So at the end of the day, you know, which one would I choose if I had to do this all over again? Well, I don't use Xbox, and I'm not a huge fan of orange, and I'm a huge fan of saving $10. So if I had to do it all over again, I would probably still choose the standard 2.5 version wheel. And that is with the understanding that over lawn use, that the leather is really going to hurt. But you know, I guess when it comes to sim racing, yes, there's a lot of functionality, but, you know, I just need to build up my calluses is all it is. But I'm going to say this up and going to say this very directly and bluntly here. The Xbox version of the wheel is objectively better than the PlayStation version. So that's why this kind of synopsis is weird, because I am objectively choosing the worse wheel, which has less compatibility, which has stiffer leather. Again, that might kind of, I've only used it only a couple of times here, so I imagine that it will soften up over long periods of time. But a lot to deal with when it comes to sim racing is, how do you like the appearance of things? You know, I guess it's kind of like an analogy that a lot of guitar players use. It was like, you know, you can have an objectively better guitar, but if it doesn't look the part, when you walk in the room and you see it and you kind of go, you know, you don't want to play it. But if you walk in the room and you've got a cheap Stratocaster that just looks great, you look at it and you want to pick it up and play it. I think that's the exact same thing here. You know, when I see this orange wheel, just because of my personal preference, it just doesn't strike me as something that I want to use. When I see the white and the leather of the standard 2.5 version, it draws me in. It goes, it makes me want to race. So ultimately, I think at the end of the day, I will probably get sim racing gloves, and I'll probably get sim racing shoes as well, actually. But at the end of the day, the version 2.5 is actually going to make me want to play Gran Turismo or Set of Corsa Competizione, with the understanding that if I get an Xbox one day, I'm probably going to have to buy this again. Meaning the version 2.5X. So, call me crazy, call me all those sorts of things, roast me in the comments. But at the end of the day, you're watching this because I have an opinion and I'm just weirdly driven to share it with people, I guess? I don't know. And so, long story short, I hope you guys have found this informative. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Roast me in the comments section. Tell me that I'm crazy. You know, maybe you guys will agree with me that, you know, even though that the Alcantara and the orange are objectively better with the Xbox compatibility or something like that, you know, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, because it honestly really does, you know, means a lot to me to hear other people's opinions, because I get stuck in my own little world a lot of the time. So, like I said, at the end of the day, version 2.5 is going to be mine. I love it a lot. It's really cool. Ever since I got the 2.5X version, I've wanted the normal version, so that just kind of tells you how I feel about the 2.5X. So, again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. Take care. Bye.